Welcome to Aurelius Whitlock's Murder Museum.
The transition feels different this time. It's like you're being pulled through a thick fog. You can feel the tendrils of reality trying to pull you back, but you're shoved onwards. The swirling blackness surrounding you. You feel jostled, twisted, thrown around. And then you feel cold sand beneath your skin. Wind whips your hair, stinging rain clinging to your skin. You open your eyes to see dark clouds above you, towering above a large spiraling lighthouse, a dim light spewing from its bulb. You are on a sandy cliff that drops off into stormy water.
Ooh, I'm not used to sand being on cliffs. I thought they got there from the water, but maybe the water goes real high up this cliff.
Oh, yes.
Also, you said sand underneath my skin. Am I not wearing shoes?
You are not wearing shoes.
Did you decide that now because I noticed that?
Oh, no. I have no shoes written in here in all caps.
Okay, great. Well, I'm sure that's not important, but I'm writing it down just in case. Is there anyone else around? Is Genevieve with me?
You look around. Let's take stock. You don't see anyone else on the cliffside. The cliffs are only about 10 feet above the water, so you can see the water pretty clearly. Lighthouse, you can see just around the back of the lighthouse, you can see an old fort made of these long wooden pikes. Classic fort style. Think Pocahontas.
Ah, yes.
You can also hear an ambulance siren actively nearing. If you want to look around I guess, what have you sat up or not? Are you still lying on the sand?
I will sit up. What am I wearing?
You are wearing a tattered black pants and a jacket. There is a tear actually in the jacket, and you notice your arm actually has a gash in it, and it hurts quite a lot. There's blood on the sand.
Yikes. Is there anything that implies it was done by myself, someone else?
You don't see any obvious weapon. So, it looks like it'd be hard to inflict on yourself.
Is it upper arm?
Yes. So right below your shoulder.
Okay. Does it need medical attention? Can I try to put together a tourniquet?
It's not severe enough that you are gonna die, but it does hurt.
Okay.
You could tear off some cloth from your tattered jacket and wrap it around your arm if that makes you feel a little better.
I'm not sure if I would actually make it much better. I feel like I might not do it very well. I don't remember enough from Boy Scouts, apparently. Well, last question about the gash. Is it look like a weapon or jagged like a slash?
It is jagged, so it does not look neat.
It's like it might have gotten sliced on something, not necessarily like a blade or a knife.
Yes. The tear that goes through your jacket also looks very rough.
Okay. Well, dang. I feel my hair.
You feel around. You do have hair. You have short, wavy hair. You have a bruise on the back of your head. As you're doing that, you also notice that just feeling with your hand, you have a burn in the shape of a circle on the palm of your hand.
My gosh.
It has...
This is like the Hangover, just covered in...
It has a W.
I have a burned W into my hand.
A circle with a W on the inside.
Okay. Or is it I turn my hand upside down? An M.
It could be an M as well.
Oh, I've cracked your riddle. I know what you're doing. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. There's an ambulance. Is it in the distance, or does it sound like it's coming towards me?
It's not coming towards you, but it is near.
And when I woke up, was I roughly positioned towards the lighthouse?
You were on your back, so feet were facing the lighthouse.
Okay, sure. I'm just seeing if Melanoy is giving me any little hints of where I should start.
Oh, I see. Well, if you look around you, you also see a satchel.
Aha! I would like to look at that satchel.
You recognize the satchel. Inside, you see the sanguine serpent.
Uh-huh. Does it look like the satchel belonged to Genevieve in a previous exhibit?
Yes. This is, for all intents and purposes, Genevieve's satchel, but it is yours now.
Anything else in here?
No.
I think Melanoy said something about having one chance, so I don't think I'm going to fiddle with this artifact quite yet. But I think it will do something eventually. Okay. I think I'll start by walking towards the lighthouse.
Okay. You walk towards the lighthouse, you notice a couple things. One, you have kind of a bum leg. So you have a kind of a limp. Sorry, you're pretty beat up.
Add it to the list.
All things combined, you probably need medical attention, but, separately, they're not that bad.
I didn't say this explicitly, so I better say it. I checked the pockets of my pants. Anything in there?
Well, indeed there is. You find Pocket Watson, you find a wallet, and you find the moratoria.
Okay. Start with the wallet.
Okay. Wallet, you open the wallet, you find a key on a chain. You find a driver's license.
The name?
And the name is you are none other than Cornelius Cuthbert.
Okay. So I am. There's one person in this world who's very pleased with that name. It's one of our listeners. Okay.
There's also a receipt.
What's the receipt say?
The receipt is from the Whalebone Pub.
Okay, what did I order?
You ordered a Sailor's Sundae. 2 of them.
Interesting. I'm going to have to order one of those and see if it's the type of thing that you can buy 2 for yourself or not. Okay. I'll talk to Pocket Watson later. I'd like to continue to go to the lighthouse.
Okay. So, you go to the lighthouse. As you get near, you hear the sirens quite clearly. In fact, as you're going closer, you can kind of peek around the edge of the lighthouse, and you can see that there are flashing sirens and an ambulance and police car parked outside the fort. There's a crowd of people gathered kind of on the outside wall, looking up. They're looking up at a body spiked on top of one of the walls of the fort.
Oof. Well, I think I'll go over to that crowd of people first.
Okay. There's a crowd of about 6 people, all looking up. Variety of clothing. You do see some old-timey clothing, but you also see some modern clothing. So,
is the old-timey like 1600s old or like a couple decades?
It's giving 1700s, like they're recreating.
Like reenactors.
Yes, yes.
I was curious when I saw the fort if it was one of those historic type landmarks. Interesting. And they're all, like pointing and screaming or discussing amongst themselves?
It looks like you've already missed all the pointing and screaming, and now they're just pointing and whispering.
Oh, man. I'm late for the screaming.
There are a variety of people you see gathered. You see a couple women in dresses. You see a couple men dressed in old-timey clothes. Someone dressed in an old boater hat. All sorts of people. Again, there's about 6 of them.
Well, the first distinct thing you said is a boater hat, so I will walk up to this individual.
You walk up to that individual. It is a a shorter man with half-moon glasses, hair kind of slicked back. He's balding, but he's obviously insecure about it. And he's wearing a little boater hat as well. It looks like he stepped out of a barbershop quartet.
Does he show any recognition when he sees me?
Oh, yes, he does. Cornelius, I'm so sorry for your loss.
My eyes, I can't see very well. Who is up there? Who died?
Well, he kind of wrings his hands. You see, and then a woman steps in between you. She is very much taller than the man. She's wearing a floral skirt, has dark brown hair, and pats you on the shoulder. Cornelius, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you know, but it's your father.
How does one how does one act when they discover that their father they have neither seen nor heard of before is dead? I make a show of it. I look shocked. I look sad.
That's good, because at this point the crowd has noticed that you're there, and everyone seems to know who you are, and so they are definitely watching your reaction.
After I give the requisite emotion for the situation, I ask, what has happened?
Your father was found dead just a little while ago. The police are up there. Would you mind if I could get a statement from you for the Wichita Whaler?
You really feel like now is the time? Can I have a little bit of time?
Well, news travels fast, especially here, so you're not gonna have that much time. She already has a notebook.
I'm in
You're in shock?
I am in shock. I don't even know what your name is.
Cornelius, surely you remember me. I'm Emmeline.
Are you? Are you really?
Yeah, last time I checked.
Last name?
Why is this so important?
You would deny the wishes of a grieving individual.
She must know. It's Emmeline Carlyle. I cannot believe you forgot.
Does sound familiar. Is Genevieve around?
Oh, well, you know my sister. She likes to be close to the action, as it were.
So where is she now?
For all intents and purposes, she is not in the fort, even though we were supposed to evacuate.
What were you told to evacuate for?
Well, there's a dead body above us, so...
Oh, nothing prior to that point.
Oh, yes, no. The police officer asked us to vacate the premises while he investigated.
I'm going to try something that probably won't work, but I'm going to just raise my hand and say, I found her. She's here. We were here. We're here to find her, and I did. I did it. I win.
The only thing that answers you is the howling wind and the stinging rain.
Okay, well, worth a shot. That was my mission, and it was worth seeing if...
Game over. Next time on... That's fair enough. That was a good try.
Well, barring that, I'm going to give my statement where I'm just going to say, I woke up on the beach with a bruise on the back of my head and this gash in my arm, a slight limp. My hand has a burned W in it, and I have no recollection of how I ended up there. And now I'm grieving. I'm in grief. I'm grieving the death of my father. Do you know what this W is? I show it to her.
No recognition is in her eyes.
I turn it 180 degrees.
There is still no recognition in her eyes.
Rats.
At this point, you see a police officer come to the crowd. He spots you, and he steps up to you, kind of waving Emmeline back. Sorry about that, Cornelius. I'm sorry for your loss this time. If you could come with me.
This time?
Yes.
What do you mean this time?
Are you asking the the police officer? Or are you asking me?
I'm asking the police officer.
I'm sorry. I really need you to come with me to identify the body. He brushes off your question.
Is this the most recent death of... My memory is shoddy. Is there a recent death besides this one?
Not recent.
Okay. Take me to the body.
Okay. He takes you inside the fort, which you can see there are a couple old-timey buildings. There's an old post office. There's a little pub, which is indeed the Whalebone pub. There's a couple other little like old-timey cottage, cabin-esque places of dwelling, let's say. And thus, but it's all empty except for you and the police officer. He leads you up a set of stairs, which is actually blocked off, but he lifts the little barricade. It says no entry. It seems like the wall of the fort is generally off limits. You come up here, and he walks you to the body. As you get closer, you notice a couple things. Number one, the body is wearing or I guess the man, because you can see he has a grizzled gray beard, a long turtleneck, and a dark blue overcoat that's draping onto the wall. But you can see that all 4 of his limbs are stretched out taut. Like, not drooping, but like...
I
like
hate
he's
that.
Sorry.
like he's a starfish and he's horizontal?
Yes.
And there's nothing propping up his arms.
No.
Upsetting imagery. Go on, storyteller.
Okay, so his coat's draping down onto the floor of the wall. I guess how close are you at this point? How close are you getting?
I mean, I assume I'm going to get as close as I'm able to. So I'd like to look at the details of the body, around the body.
Okay.
How exactly he's been stabbed through.
Okay, cool. You get closer. You see that one of the tips of the wooden spikes forming the wall has gone through his chest.
Mm-hmm. So I might not be able to tell this at a glance, as if he was like dropped onto it, or is there a possibility that this skewer was propped back up after it was used in some other configuration?
The spike is well set in enough to the fort that it would be impossible to remove. So it looks like he was put onto the spike.
Okay.
You get closer. You see above you, looming above the wall of the fort, is the lighthouse. You can see the eyes of the man who is apparently your father are open and bloodshot. You also notice there is a little bit of blackness around his lips.
Is this a blackness that is familiar to anything unnatural I've seen? Melanoi, the like?
Doesn't quite remind you of Melanoi, but
It doesn't look natural.
does not look like a naturally dead body. And at this point, you've seen enough of, I guess, natural and unnatural deaths. Yes.
I guess when I say does it look like Melanoi stuff, it was more Marikari curse stuff that I saw that turned flesh black.
Yes, this does not look like Marikari.
Okay, this is a supernatural death. Okay, and any other... What else do I see here?
Okay, that's about all you can see without just looking at the body.
Okay, I glance over to the police officer, and I move to investigate. Pockets, clothing.
Please be careful, sir. Oh, sorry, I don't know what that voice that was. Dang it.
Everyone
Please
eventually becomes British.
Right? All right? It's my curse. Okay. Please be careful, sir.
Of course, I need to see if he's left anything for his next of kin. That's me. I delicately look around his long coat, his turtleneck. He looks captain-y, right? Looks like this is a weathered old sea captain.
Yes, he does. It looks very grizzled and seaworthy.
He smells a little salty, I assume. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to examine his pockets and clothes.
Okay. You examine his clothes. You notice a couple things. You notice A, the strong smell of alcohol. B, there is a bottle in one of his coat pockets, and a red ring around his neck. But you have to lift down the turtleneck collar in order to see the line. And as you do so, your hand kind of brushes his bare skin, and you feel it's, for lack of a better word, it's a little tingly.
Like electrocuted tingly or something that I wouldn't be familiar with?
No, yes, that first one.
I shout back to the police officer, is this barricade electrified at all? The fort itself? It's wood, so it can't be, right?
As far as I know, it's always been wood. This is a historical fort. It has our Fort Wichita has been struck by lightning many a time, where it's one of the things we're known for, but it is not purposefully electrified. No, it is not an electrical fence. But seems to me we have a pretty straightforward case here. The lighthouse keeper had a little too much to drink. No, not to speak ill of the dead, but had a little too much fun at the bottle, and
Well, he looks up at the lighthouse.
stumbled up off the railing, and well, here we are.
Yeah, I guess that was my next question, is how close is the lighthouse to the fort? And it sounds like it is close enough that it's feasible.
Mm-hmm. It is towering pretty close. Like, it looks like if fell or jumped, you could feasibly land on the wall of the fort.
Okay. Well, I say, by Jove, you've solved it so quick. Finally, justice for my dead father. Thank you. Bless you. And
As you say that, you're interrupted. Oh, I really hope you're not going to accept that. I mean, I expect that from Officer Mango, but Cornelius, you're really going to accept that about the death of your father? You look over, and you see Genevieve, about 10 years younger, but it is Genevieve nonetheless.
Well, believe it or not, I may have just implemented sarcasm because this is not the accidental death museum. It seems a lot more likely it's murder. I say this, of course, to see if there's recognition in her eyes. Is this the Genevieve I've known and talked to?
You say that. This sarcasm bit she seems to follow, but as you continue, she kind of cocks her head. I heard you were out drinking last night, but it seems you're in a bit of a shock right now.
I pull out the moratoria, as if I'm fiddling with it.
Has Emmeline already asked for your statement? Because I'd love to. And Officer Mingo kind of waves her away.
Now's not the time, Genevieve.
Okay. I've given my statement. It was rather brief. I have no recollection of what's happened here. How about your statement, Genevieve?
My statement? She walks closer to you and to the body, and as she talks to you, she is focused on looking at the body and is obviously checking it out. My statement, well, if you're asking for my alibi, I was at my quarters down there at the little paper, burning the midnight oil. He is dead, isn't he?
No, I think that he's just stabbed, electrocuted, and having a bad night. I'm sure he'll be with us soon. Do you have any way of verifying your alibi? Any way to prove that you were at this, at the paper, as you say?
She laughs. Well, I believe that is the officer's job and not yours, Cornelius.
You are being way too nonchalant about the death of my father. What is this, a reenactment? I poke the body. I'm like, he is dead, right?
Surprise! No. He is not moving.
Is this some murder mystery camp? Are you all actors?
I assure you, this is very serious. and I am sorry for your loss.
Then
I,
would it kill you to be a little more cooperative?
I suppose. What would you like to know? And I apologize as Nathan, who always writes a snarky Genevieve.
I mean, it's fine. It just, I think, makes me think that she's the Genevieve I know, but evidence is pointing to her being a Genevieve in this time and place. I guess I'm still not sure.
That's fair. She continues poking around the body as well, and you see her lift up the coat off the ground, and you see for the first time there is a black box.
I try to open it up.
You get closer, you kneel down to it, and at this point, the wind is picking up a ton, and the rain is coming down super hard. As you kneel down, you realize it's a car battery.
Ooh.
From the car battery, there are wires.
Don't touch that.
You see that Genevieve realizes what it is as well, and grabs your arm and pulls you back. The next moment seems to drag on forever. You feel an explosion of light and heat before you hear the crash as a lightning bolt rips from the sky and strikes the fort. You're thrown onto the ground, your ears ringing, as the smell of acrid smoke fills your nose, and then all goes black.
Vet niet eerder nice doen. Naf zitten ze. Hij is